September 9th, 2019. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, this is Andy with Mindset Matters More. And what is this date? What is it? What's the significance of it? 6 years ago to the day. Why do we care? Well, if you have been following me for any amount of period, especially on Instagram, even though I'm not on Instagram anymore, you will know that September 9th, 2019 was the day that I decided to change my life. That it wasn't the day I got sober. I got sober way before that. But it was the day that I decided to take my health into my own hands. Now, have I done missteps? Yes. Have I hit some shit out of the park and just knocked it out? Yes. But we're going to go through it. We're going to talk about the different things that I have done for my health over the past 6 years. And hopefully you guys can learn some of my lessons. Hopefully you guys can consider new points of view for your own journey. Okay? So let's start with why it was that I decided that I was going to change my life. So something that happened was, my cousin is into running. Blah. But, I was running 5Ks and, doing here and there, just trying to kind of stay fit. I was doing yoga. I've always been a super active person. So I don't want you to get the idea that all of a sudden I went from doing nothing to doing something. I've always been somebody who's been active. But in terms of nutrition and mindset, I never thought about those things at all. I just thought, I'm going to hit the gym and I'm going to be fine. So I want you to know that my cousin was thinking about doing this, and this was right before the whole COVID thing happened, right? So she was that she wants to do a marathon. And I was why don't we go to, I think it was Costa Rica, that we'll, do the Costa Rica marathon and I'll go run a 5K. And she was like, no. If I'm going to go do this marathon, you got to do at least a 10K. And I was like, a 10K? Oh, I never ran that much in my whole entire life. But you know what? Fuck it. Whatever. We'll do this. And, I was thinking it still hadn't hit. It still hadn't done nothing. And, I was in Guatemala, but then I came home, right? And, I was just joking around with my husband about his weight, because during the summer times, he typically loses a shit ton of weight because he's a contractor and he works, these long days. So he doesn't stop to eat. So, he winds up losing a ton of weight in the summer. And I thought it would be funny, hey, why don't we weigh each other so that we could see how much, more, because I was a little bit chunkier back then. Now, again, I don't want to say that I was fat, because I don't think I was fat. It was just I was, at a weight that was the highest I had ever been. And it turns out I was 2 pounds heavier than my husband. And my husband, he is a whole foot taller than me. And I was like, how the fuck did this happen? That's not supposed to happen. I go to the gym, I work out, I do yoga, blah, blah, blah. Not realizing that, doing that and then coming home and eating a block of cheese was probably counteracting all the stuff that I had been doing. So I was like, all right. I decided at that point in time that I was going to change my life. So I set off on this journey to learn how to run a 10K. But with that, I was like, let me figure out this whole nutrition thing. Let me figure out, how to keep my mind right. And, ever since then, I've been off to the races. Okay. Now, here are some things that I have done in this entire 6 years that you may not know. Okay. So I have done keto, Atkins, I have done the Mediterranean, I have done the 1 meal a day, I have done, oh my God, so many different diets over the past, just some weird shit that seriously, I've done intermittent fasting, I've done no carb, I've done high protein, I've done high fat, I've done all these different stuff and manipulating stuff. But what I realized was that for me, just eating fucking balanced is really fucking hard. That just thinking, oh, if I eat balanced, that this is going to be the solution, which is like so dumb, right? Because to me, I want the quick fix. I want the quick solution. I want to be able to get to my goal yesterday, and it should be easy. I mean, I should suffer, but it's simple. Like, I just don't eat, right? Well, that was harming me in my mindset. And so this whole mindset thing just started happening to me, that I'm like, I'm trying to run, I'm trying to lift weights, I'm trying to do all this stuff. Because the other thing is that, like, after I ran it, so we were supposed to go to Costa Rica, I believe it was like March of 2020, but then y'all know what happened March of 2020, or it was March or April of 2020 that we were supposed to do the races. But then what happened was this pandemic happened, and so we couldn't do it. And, I decided, I'm just going to keep going with my race training. So I did my race training. And then after that, I was like, okay, what's my next goal? Because I ran the 10K, like not in a race, but just for myself. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to start bodybuilding. And when you start bodybuilding, there's this extreme weightlifting, there's extreme dieting. So there's like a whole other side to it that like happened too. But in that, I learned so much about nutrition and how it impacts my body. Like, what do carbs do to me? What does sugar do to me? What does protein give me? What does fat help me to do? Like, these different macronutrients, they all really help me in one way or another. But what it also did on top of that was to help me get my mind right around food. It helped me to understand that food, yeah, it's delicious, and yeah, it can be central to celebrations and to hanging out with your friends and to going to the movies or going on a date or, holidays or birthdays and shit like that. Like, yeah, food can be central to that, but it shouldn't be something that you use as a reward. It shouldn't be something that you tell yourself, I deserve this, or not make time for it. If you're not making time for these things that are nourishing your body, it can really fuck up your mind. So I set off on like this whole mindset thing, and I started reading books from like Tim Grover and all these different, self-help books about these mindset coaches and like their view on life, and, people who were hyper successful, and people who were gold medal champions at the Olympics. And what I found was that, yes, there is an element of being extreme. There is an element of being, just kind of hyper focused on something. But we have to take into consideration what the goal is. If your goal is to lose weight, you need to lock into how you're going to train, how you're going to eat, and how your mind is going to operate during that time. If you want to build muscle, you have to lock into how you're going to eat, how you're going to train, what your mindset is going to do. If you're going to, get on stage as a bodybuilder, you have to lock into how are you going to train, how are you going to eat, how are you going to deal with the mindset issues that comes with that extremeness of it, and really just focus in on what it is. Now, I'm going to tell you this, professional sports, or just sports in general, nutrition and training is not healthy. It is dedicated to a purpose, to a sport, to a physical activity, to a physical extreme. Now, can you go play soccer and nutrition? Yeah, absolutely. But I'm talking about people who want to compete on a professional level, or like semi-professional level, that they want to take it to the next level. That those things, they're very much like, yeah, you've got to cry at the gym. You've got to cry because, hey, I don't get to eat birthday cake. Hey, yes, you have to really come to terms with your life is different. That means adopting a new identity of athlete, runner, or I am no longer this size, I am X size, or I am a person with muscles, or just adopting the identity, because that's really going to help your mindset around the nutrition and the training and the goals that you have. So guys, tell me, what has been your journey? Because what I've learned over the past 6 years is that And I did a podcast on this a long, long, long time ago where mindset, nutrition, and like your training are all important. Okay, all of them. You can't have one without the other, and plan and expect to be any sort of like effective in what it is that you're trying to do. So let me know what you think, guys. Okay, love you. Bye.